Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Neremik. Welcome back to more of the Great Ace Attorney Adventures. Last time we continued on with Case 4, we went and met Iris. And now we're heading to the scene of the crime. We're going to properly start getting into the investigating part now. We've had our introductions, but this is where we're going to start looking for clues. So, as of right now, it is the 19th of February, 2:38 PM on Briar Road. Looks as though the police are still here, carrying on with their investigation. Perfect. So let's find Inspector Gregson as quickly as possible. Yeah, and let's see if he'll take a break from his chips. Look at that silver tip Iris gave for him. Ah, yes, we're going to bribe him. I see. Okay, so Iris's postcard, if we just go present that. Inspector Gregson, do you have a moment? I'm sorry to say I don't. I'm a very busy man. Much too busy to talk to a pair of foreign gadabouts, that's for sure. Nope. We have these for you. A present from Miss Iris Wilson. What? For me? From her ladyship? Her ladyship? Oh, give that here at once. Come on, hang it over. That's for me! Don't wait for me to give it to you, will you? What was that coin exactly? It's a silver crown, obviously, but it's a lot more than that. It's an appearance fee, that's what it is. An appearance fee? Oh, I see. You mean... That's right, for the adventures of Mr. Heroic Sholmes. Her ladyship always offers me a little financial reward for her featuring me, every single time. Yes, of course. I know all about your exploits, Inspector. I read them avidly. Of course, her using my name without my say-so does make me the butt of a lot of unpleasant jokes, but still. I am sorry, Inspector. That must be difficult for you. Never you mind that. So, what do you want to know then, eh? Sorry? Tell the gentleman in black whatever he wants to know. I trust that won't be a problem, it says. Well, obviously it's not a problem. Go on, fire away. What do you want to know? Well, if you wouldn't mind, Inspector, we'd very much like to know the address of Mr. Natsume's lodgings. Ah, little knife-wielding moustache Japanese fellow. He lives in a right old oval. It's just over there. Look! On the first floor of that house in the corner where that wreck of a bicycle's propped up. That is nearby indeed. If I remember rightly, the landlord is Mr. John Garadeb. Right, well... if you see her again, make sure you give my ladyship due regards, you hear? I mean it, you tell her that Gregson sends his very best wishes. No, don't worry, Inspector, we will. Goodbye for now, then. And long live her ladyship. Okay. Well, at least he told us what we wanted to know before he left. Yeah. So then, shall we go see what we can find in Mr. Natsume's room? Definitely. Okay. Love this like kind of music's going on. Vibing. So, we only have one new location, but we might as well check it out, see how Natsume has been living. Don't think there's too much in here, but I could be wrong. So, 19th of February, Mr. Natsume's lodgings. Awfully fancy. May I help you? Would this be the residence of Mr. John Garadeb? Indeed it would, sir. And who may I say is calling? My name is Renosuke Naruhodo. Mr. Naruhodo is representing Mr. Sosuke Natsume. He believes he takes lodging here. We would very much like to ask him some questions about our clients. One moment, please. I shall convey the message to Mr. Garadeb. Oh, did you see that, Mr. Sato? That was a real-life English maid. I know. As I understand it, anyone established in English society employs a number of household staff. But that was the first time I've ever seen one in person. Oh, this day just keeps getting better. It certainly feels like we've really arrived now, doesn't it? We need only to meet the butler and the experience will be complete. Well, I'm not sure if I'd go that far, but I understand the sentiment. Thank you for waiting. Mr. Garadeb will see you now. This way. Okay. Here we go then. Good day to you. John Garadeb at your service. I think I've already done that voice for someone else. Right. Pleased to meet you, sir. This is Renosuke Naruto. He's the fence lawyer. Do excuse me not getting up. Took a shot to the knee a few years back in the Battle of Maiwan, don't you know? And a medal for my pains, but I had to withdraw from service. Handed over the reins to the up-and-comings. So, he's a retired soldier. It's a hell of a job just getting up and down the stairs now. I can tell you, don't get out much, as you can imagine. Yeah, it's quite a climb from here to the second floor, isn't it? I was panting at the top of the stairs. You really must use more exercise, Mr. Naruto. Oh, do you think so? Well, Mr. Garadeb, no doubt you were very courageous to win yourself a medal. Oh, it was nothing. That medal was just a fool roll, really. I wouldn't like to offend the general, though, so I grudgingly displayed it on the wall. Why don't you fetch it down, Joan? Let these good people see it properly. Joan, fetch the... Wah! Oh, dash it all, woman, be careful! Oh, dearie me, I do beg your pardon, sir. Oh, you Joey nearly took the skin off me hands! You shall be more careful, sir. So, anyway, there you have it. Some the quiet wife for now. Yeah. I see. Now then, you want to know about the chap watching downstairs, is that right? Yes. We would be very grateful if you could answer some questions for us. Only two, please, naturally. Especially if it helps to keep the peace here in Blighty. Blighty? We forged an alliance with the Empire of Japan recently, as I'm sure you're aware. So this case is very much in the public eye, as it were. Oh, it is? Even had some famous detective poking around, you know, in this old house, would you believe? Yes, Mr. Hillock Sholmes. Could have been. Didn't catch the chap's name. Not really my cup of tea, all that detective business. Oh, but you have a copy of Fran's magazine here, so... no. Anyway, the chap's investigating the foreigner's room as we speak. So he's in Sosuke-san's room. It's a bawling nuisance is what it is. The whole neighborhood's twitching its curtains now. I don't like all this fuss. It's jolly unsettling. Okay, well, Mr. Natsume. About Mr. Natsume then, Mr. Garadeb, please do tell us. Yeah, the Japanese chap. Only been lodging here for a week. Oh, just a week? So he moved in very recently then. I have two lodges most of the time, one on the ground floor and one just below us. The first floor room became available a week ago, you see. They've been... Oh, dash it, old Joan, do be careful. No, my goodness, I'm terribly sorry, sir. If you want to know my opinion, I thought he was a shady sort from the moment I set foot on him. Oh? Why? He seemed to have a most nervous disposition, always shaking and looking over his shoulder. The man had shady written across his sweat-soaked brow, if you ask me. I said to myself, Joan, that man is trouble. Sooner or later he's going to do something untoward. And I'm really wrong about anything. We won't be calling this maid as a witness, that's for sure. Was there anything else that you struck as suspicious about the man? Oh. Yes. Oh, indeed there was. And she's dying to tell us. Okay then, shady lodger. Had you noticed anything else at all about your lodger, Mr. Natsume? Oh my word, yes. The man was shadier than an orchard. Could you elaborate? Well, take the man's room. Absolutely stuffed full of books, it is. More than anyone could ever read. And he never so much as passes the time of day with another living soul. I haven't heard a single visitor call. He just trots off to that old bookshop every single day, comes back at 5 to light the gas fire. And the funny little man is long past the time everyone else in the house has gone to bed too. Oh, I see. The gentleman on the ground floor goes to bed at around 9 each night, but I've never known that Japanese fellow to retire any earlier than 2 in the morning. He's a man after my own heart. I am going to defend him with everything I've got. could you clarify something, I wonder? What, pray? How do you know so much about Mr. Natsume's routine? No! I have noticed that neither of the lodgers live on this floor of the house, is that correct? That's right, yeah. They're both below us on the first floor and street level. Then, how is it that you know so much about the lives of your lodgers? The precise times that they come back in the evening, for example, even the times they go to bed. Oh, good grief, Joan, be more careful, woman. Oh my goodness, sir. I'm terribly sorry, sir. Something doesn't add up here. Okay, the incident 2 days ago. It seems the incident took place at around 5 in the evening. Did you happen to look out of the window at around that time? Up the window? Yes, we noticed that the window over there looks out over Briar Road. The incident took place on the pavement just on the far side of the streets. Was there anyone suspicious loitering nearby? 5 o'clock is dinner time in the Garrideb household, so I'm afraid I don't remember seeing anything. How about you, Joan? No, sir. It would have been dusk outside already at that hour. And with the fog as well, I should think it would have been quite impossible to see the other side of the road. Oh, I see. Did you notice anything else out of the ordinary then? Such as... anything at all, even if it seems unrelated. Well... Yeah, was there something then? No, it was nothing particularly significant, but around that sort of time in here, then... Oh, for the love of God, Joan, watch what you're doing. No, dear me, what have I done? I'm awfully sorry, sir. Do, be more careful, woman. Of course, sir. If I may, Mr. Narrow Hollow. Oh, you know, yeah? I have an exceedingly good memory, and as far as I remember, nothing of any significance took place here at that hour. Nothing at all. Oh, really? Mr. Garrideb? The way we were talking before, it sounded rather like there might have been. Oh, well, as I was saying, it was just a trifling matter, really. Nothing of... Joan! Dash it all. What is the matter with you, woman? Begging your pardon, sir. Nothing happened. Yeah, quiet. Nothing happened. We sat down to a quiet, uneventful meal. Joan. That's right, Mr. Garrideb. What is the matter with these two? It sounds like something happened here in this room the evening of the incident, but what? I wish I knew. Okay, so Mr. Natsume's room. Doesn't seem like we can get much else out of them, so we might as well just press on. So, could you tell us which floor Mr. Natsume's room is on? Oh, why certainly. Just below us on the first floor. And Mr. Sholmes is investigating there even as we speak? Yeah, told Nats his main, and asked him to look into the matter, so I gave him the key. And Mr. Natsume has engaged Mr. Sholmes' services. That's a blatant lie. Would it be alright if we also had a look around? In Natsume's room, I mean. I don't see why not. It's just down one flight of stairs. Who knows we'll find anything that could help us with the case, but we have to try. We need all the clues we can get our hands on, shall we? Yes, and while we're there, we can speak with Mr. Sholmes again. Perhaps he'll be able to tell us more. Okay, so a curious bunch, but I have everything that we're not done investigating this room, but as it stands for now, we can't really get much further with these two. So, that brings us into Mr. Natsume's room, in which I assume we're going to have what? Cat! Oh, there's a cat, and there's a cat statue, and a brick-shop window. Oh, HD cat. What? Just look at this place. And smell it. It's so musty in here. I suppose it's mountains of old books that are responsible for that. I don't think I've ever seen so many books in all my life. No, me neither. It's so dark in here too. Is that the window over there? Well, it was the window, I think, yeah. Once upon a time. But for some reason it's been closed up with bricks and mortar. So, this is where Mr. Natsume lives. By the way, I haven't spotted Mr. Sholmes anywhere, have you? No, that's true, but according to what Mr. Garadab told us, the great detective should be around here somehow investigating. Okay, well, we're going to examine. Can we... Yes, we'll let us pan to the left. Sholmes is not hidden slightly off screen, so we'll cat it up. The important object in the room. Whoa! Oh my, what an adorable little cat. Perhaps he's looking after all the books while his master is away? I don't know about that. He disappeared into that pile of books as quick as a flash. It was a tricolour Mickey, wasn't it? Did they even have that type of cat here in Great Britain? Perhaps Mr. Sholmes, perhaps Mr. Natsume brought the little creature with him from Japan. Well, that's made me feel homesick now. Already? We've only been in the country for 2 days. No. No more cats. Anyway, what's on this book then? It's front and centre. That desk seems to be wedged into a crevasse between the mountains of books on either side. I suppose Mr. Natsume would sit there and read while stroking his cat. But surrounded on all sides by these towering books... Sure, he dreamt of books every night as well. Yes, he must have done, mustn't he? Oh! What's this? It's a receipt from a second-hand bookshop. Your books. Oh, yeah, Mr. Natsume's name on it. Look, and the date of the purchase. Oh, 2 days ago at 4:44 PM. That's the day of the incident. That's just a short while before he was embroiled in the terrible attack. He must have been on his way back from buying some old books. Okay, second-hand book receipts has been added into the court record. A receipt discovered in Mr. Natsume's room for some books that he had purchased from a second-hand bookshop the day of the incident. Okay, let's check out. Can't interact with this bag. Paper on the floor. Have a look at what's scrunched up on the floor. They look like balls of gum, though, less than paper. Either way, I look at all these balls of paper on the floor. There are notes scrawled all over them in English. It looks like the waste paper basket is so full they've just fallen out. I think Mr. Natsume must have been deeply immersed in his research, don't you? Or deeply adverse to tidying up his mess. I wouldn't like to speculate which is closest to the truth. Okay, cat statue, what you got for me? Oh look, it's a beckoning cat from home. It's a bit big and bulky, isn't it? Surely Mr. Natsume didn't bring that Maneke Nico all the way from Japan with him. I hardly think you're in a position to comment, Mr. Naruto. Are you guessing the enormous styrofoam doll that you brought in your luggage? Well, it can be dangerous travelling abroad. I wanted a lucky charm. Well, I imagine Mr. Natsume wants the same, and this cat is sure to beckon good luck to him. It's not doing a very good job so far now, is it? You mustn't say such things. I didn't say a word! Why are my eyes such a giveaway? Okay. What else we got going on then? Like, what else can we use? Look, I'm running out of things to really inspect. So, right, look at all those books stacked up there. They almost reached the ceiling. They're all works of English literature, and they all smell so musty. And with this volume of books to hand, you never should have reading material or dust, would you? No, what a dreamy idea. A bad dream, maybe, for me at least. Mind you, I don't imagine the book that's at the bottom of the pile now will ever be read again. Ah, so reading it is an experience that comes but once in a lifetime, just as the tea ceremony teaches us. I certainly didn't expect the conversation to turn down the path of tea ceremony philosophy. Okay. What's this then? It's got like a padlock on. This appears to be some sort of meter on the wall here. Looks kind of robust. I wonder what it's for. There's a slot for inserting coins here too. Ah, I believe this is a gas meter, Mr. Naruto. A gas meter? Yes, it seems there's piped gas in this district, which consumers pay for by putting coins in the meter. So, if we put a coin in the slot, that'll be enough gas to use the lights and the gas fire for the whole night. So if you're too poor to have a coin, you'd have to spend the night in the dark and the freezing cold? That's right, as a rich man who only carried crisp white notes. Whew, wonder if it's a scary place. Okay, let's see. Anything of interest remaining on this side of the room? I don't think so. Actually, no, we've talked about the window, but we haven't inspected it. Right. Could you even call this a window? I think so. It was a window at one time, after all. Although, all that remains of it now is some bricks. So, it's really just a wall then, isn't it? But why would anyone deliberately brick it up like that? I'm afraid I have no idea. Ah! Perhaps Mr. Natsume painted the brick design on in a fit of whimsy. Oh, that's alarmingly feasible. Anyway, whatever the reason, the lack of ventilation in here makes the place very oppressive. It does. I imagine being cooped up in a room like this would be extremely trying. Huh. And we're running out of things to do. Kettle, more books. I think we're actually done for this side, so... LOU. Ah! Look at Mr. Naruto. Aha! There he is. Where did he appear from? He seems to be engrossed in the pages of an old book. I hope you won't mind if we disturb him. Hello, Mr. Sholmes. Ah, you two. Good day. Now, let me see. Where was it that we met? Oh, Mr. Sholmes, we were together on the SS Burya. Yes, of course, the SS Burya. And let me see, what happened on that voyage? It was Kazuma Rasugi. He died, tragically. But you were a great help to us. Ah yes, but of course, the case of Mr. Rasugi. It was the one with the snake, wasn't it? Oh! Well, you seem to remember something of it at least. What an honour to be remembered vaguely by the great detective Herlock Sholmes. This is Mr... Oh, no, my dear madame, hold your tongue. I found myself on the superior powers of recollection. Your names are safely recorded in my brain attic. Miss Naruto. And Mr. Susato. Try the other way around, Mr. Sholmes. I lose the first round. In truth, I had hoped to invite you both to my Baker Street suite the day we arrived in London, but some Scotland Yarders ambushed me at the railway station and whisked me away to a crime scene. It was an entirely trivial case, of course. I solved the matter in no more than 30 minutes. So, they apprehended Sosuke-san in that short an amount of time? I'm afraid the pursuance of a new case has dulled my recollection of my past involvements a little. A little? It is a mistake to think that one's brain attic has elastic walls and can distend to any extent. I do my best to forget useless facts, lest they should elbow out the useful ones. Yes, those are my own words of inimitable wisdom, you know, from an adventure titled A Study in Scarlet. Please, there's no need to quote yourself. I don't always remember my pills of wisdom, but unfortunately my associate pens them beautifully. He means Iris, I suppose. Mr. Sholmes, we have some extremely important questions to ask you about the trivial case you just mentioned. Goodness, what an earnest expression. My dear madame, I should only be too pleased, and this murky room is an apt place to discuss this murky case. Okay then, so we can converse with our Mr. Sholmes about Natsume's arrest. Right, we know this is the lodgings of a Japanese foreign student by the name of Sosuke Natsume. It seems that you assisted in his arrest, Mr. Sholmes, for the stabbing of a young woman outside here on Briar Road. Natsume. Yes, I believe it was a name rather along those lines. But Mr. Natsume denies it. Was it really justifiable to arrest him on so little? I'm sorry, Mr. Sato, but I have not the slightest idea what you mean. But what? I can't believe he was looking Sato-san squarely in the eye while feigning ignorance. I assure you, I am not merely feigning ignorance. It would appear as if the pair of you were under some misapprehension. Oh? But how? I assure you, I have no recollection of accusing your stooped compatriot of the crime. But that doesn't make sense! The good detective of Scotland Yard made the following request of me, and I quote verbatim. We need you to ascertain the identity and whereabouts of a man fleeing the crime scene. Ah, a man seen fleeing. There were a number of books scattered on the pavements at the scene. From the book plates, it was quickly able to determine the bookshop from which they had been purchased. On speaking with the proprietor, I was immediately led to this address. Elementary, wouldn't you say? I believe there's a receipt somewhere around here from the establishment in question. So you don't think Mr. Natsume is the culprit then? That I could not tell you. But it was aggravating my faculties, hence why I returned here. However, this place is such a trove of fascinating books, I found myself quite lost in bibliography. Do not be deceived into believing that I am a man of leisure. No, no, no. Oh dear. Okay, Mr. Garadeb, the landlord. Right. Tell me. Have you encountered the landlord of these lodgings? Yeah, Mr. Garadeb, a retired military man. It was the first time I've ever met a soldier from the great British institution that is the services. And it was the first time I've ever met a maid from the great British institution that is service. I didn't think it was that funny. I do apologise. As you may well be aware, many households in London employ a maid. Yes, I read as much in my Great Britain Primer. And so, conversely, whether or not a household employs a maid has come to betoken the social standing of those dwelling therein. Betoken their social standing? Sorry? Put simply, my dear fellow, those who employ at least a single maid are considered middle class. Those who do not are beneath that. In the upper echelons of society, of course, households employ enough staff to constitute a large family. Goodness, how extraordinary. As you can appreciate, for those on the precarious boundary between the middle and lower classes, being able to afford just one maid is of the first importance. I had no idea. And it is precisely for that reason that I find great stimulation in the situation upstairs. Specifically, the retired army veteran, Mr. John Garadeb. Oh? Affable as he is, the fellow is hiding something. Whether or not it imposes on the circumstances of this case, I am yet unable to ascertain. I'm thoroughly lost on what he means to say. And the dingy room. This room is thoroughly suffocating for the soul, my dear fellow. I assure you, any man who's lost us to dwell in a place such as this will stab somebody sooner or later. Miss Natsume stabbed no one! But sooner or later, as I said. I don't believe this is the issue here. About this dark little room, Mr. Sholmes. Why is there no longer a window? Do you have any idea? No window? Well, I mean, I can clearly see that there's a window of sorts. But it's completely blocked with bricks. I see. The answer to that question is quite simple. Window tax. Window tax? What is that? Surely not a tax on windows. Precisely that. Oh my goodness! Until relatively recently, a tax was levied on households in this country by the number of their windows. Those of lesser means, having inherited a sizable and costly family home, perhaps rapidly closed windows up. While the rich open windows here, there, and everywhere. In an effort to curry favour with those in power by furnishing them with large sums of tax money. How awful and unjust, forcing people to live in rooms devoid of light. Indeed, disease was rife as a result. So, some 40 years ago, or thereabouts, the window tax was abolished. But its legacy remains, as you can see, in squalid lodgings such as these, for example. I suppose Mr. Natsume's stipend for living here in London isn't very generous, perhaps. It would appear so. I've done a little digging, and discovered that these lodgings were offered at an extraordinarily low price. Because the room is so awful, I should think. Apparently, Mr. Natsume only moved in here about 1 week ago. Yes, that's correct. However, I don't believe the low rent is explained by the shabby nature of the accommodation. Oh? Still, that is of little relevance here, and that's not worthy of further attention. Are you sure? Because I'm curious now. Well, I believe I've told you all I can now. Thank you, Mr. Sholmes. Ah, yes, Mr. Naruto. Was it not your intention to become a practitioner of law? Oh, you remembered that, did you? Will you perhaps be offering your services in this very matter, I wonder? To the occupants of this room, Mr. Natsume, was it? I'm not sure. Not sure? On what grounds? Well, I actually defended someone in court only yesterday. Really? Well then, I congratulate you, sir, on an ambition realised. And so promptly, too. Yeah, the thing is, it's really made me question things. Am I right to believe in my clients? To trust in their innocence? Yes. Trust. Mr. Sholmes. Mr. Natsume didn't do it. Did he? My dear fellow, I haven't the first idea. Oh, but I thought that's why you were here. Didn't you come back to investigate? Well, yes, that was indeed my initial intention. But there are simply too many fascinating books here. I couldn't possibly ignore them. Oh, I see. Nevertheless, there are two facts that I can state quite unequivocally. The man who fled the scene of the crime 2 days ago was the Japanese occupant of this room, and there are witnesses who swear to having seen the same man commit the crime. That is all I can say. Ah, and one more thing. Oh, what is it, Mr. Sholmes? Do tell us! I cannot say with any certainty whether or not it is of relevance to this case, but I am quite sure that the retired army man who owns this property is hiding something. Mr. Garadeb is. Mr. Sholmes said as much before, but didn't he? Anyway, at present, that really is all that plays on my mind in relation to this case. Mr. Naruto, as yet in our investigation, we have yet to uncover anything that could help establish Mr. Natsume's innocence. No, you're right. Perhaps it's time we probed a little deeper into Mr. Garadeb's secret. Just remember, I cannot be sure whether the landlord's secret will prove of any relevance or not. But I wish you every success, of course, Mr. Naruto. A busy man indeed. He's gone back to his book in the corner of the room. And I think with that curious episode, we're going to be due to end it. We should have maybe one more episode left on the investigation before we go to trial. But yeah, no, that's it for now. I'm sorry if the audio and text was slightly out of sync. My capture card has desync, but today it was really acting up. I'll try and fix it in editing, but apologies if there were like long pauses between sentences and stuff. I tried my best, but yeah, I understand if it was a bit off. But with all that said, if you did enjoy, feel free to like and subscribe. It'll help so much. Let know want to see more of this, and it supports the channel. But until next time, with all said and all that side, thanks for watching, guys. My name's been Neremik, and peace out.